My husband M39 has thrown me F27 under the bus to his family with his silence and complete lack of a spine. How do I salvage this? My husband Owen and I have been wanting a baby for a long time, but we haven't had any luck. I thought about adopting, but Owen's family doesn't like the idea, and Owen ended up feeling the same way because of them. After 2 years of trying, I begged Owen to go with me to the doctor to see if something was wrong. He didn't want to because he thought all the men in his family were fertile, but finally he agreed. Turns out his sperm count was very low. We were both sad and went to therapy. We stopped trying for a while. Then I got pregnant, but we lost the baby. We were both heartbroken, especially Owen. He suggested we look into using a sperm donor, and I agreed. He didn't want to tell anyone, and I respected that because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. With the help of the donor, I got pregnant again, and we had our daughter last year. She's healthy and growing up so fast. I'm grateful for her every day. I kept our secret like I promised, but Owen is having a hard time bonding with our daughter. And here's where things took a turn for the worse. Last month, Owen went out of town with his brothers for their friend's bachelor party. While he was away, he ended up sharing our struggles with infertility and that our baby wasn't biologically his. Somehow, one of his brother's wives got wind of it and spilled the beans to Owen's mother. I can't say for sure why she did it, but she's never been fond of me. So Owen's mother showed up at our doorstep, hurling insults at me, calling me names like a lying whore, and trying to convince Owen to leave with her. But Owen just stood there, not saying a word. I told her that it was Owen's choice not to share our situation, but she wouldn't listen. She even went as far as raiding our nursery, taking back every gift she had ever given us for the baby. I didn't let her actions get to me. I told her I didn't need her gifts and that I could afford to buy everything myself, even better quality stuff. That really got her riled up, and she resorted to calling my baby a filthy bastard. At that point, I couldn't hold back anymore. I said something harsh in return, but given the circumstances, I felt she deserved it. I gently pushed her out the door, just using my hands on her shoulders to guide her out along with her belongings. Once things settled down, I realized my husband hadn't said a word while his mother was insulting me and our child. I asked him why he stayed silent, and he said he wasn't raised to be disrespectful like I was. He felt his mother's hurtful words were true, and we should wait for her to forgive us. I couldn't accept that. I told him anyone who agreed with his mother wasn't welcome in our home. I refused to be forgiven for something I hadn't done. He insisted he had the final say as the head of the family. I agreed, but I questioned why he let his mother call me names and insult our child. After that, I stopped talking to him and began packing up our daughter's things. When he tried to stop me, I lost my composure. I told him she wasn't his daughter if he couldn't see her as one. He broke down in tears, begging me to come back, but I felt nothing at the time. He looked pitiful to me. I've taken my baby and gone back home to my parents. Finally, I've opened up to my family about everything, and it feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders. They're fully supporting my decision and are keeping my husband away from us because he still hasn't apologized or sorted things out with his family. I confided in my sister-in-law, hoping for some understanding, but she ended up spreading the news to the rest of his family. Some are on our side, but others are siding with his mother. They're all upset with my husband though. Right now I need space to cool down, but I know eventually we'll have to work things out. One thing's certain, I won't go back to his house until he apologizes and promises to protect me and our daughter. I need to see real action, like him standing up to his mother and telling her she was wrong, and banning her from visiting until she apologizes to me. We were thinking about having more kids, but that's on hold. I don't think he's ready, and we both need to get back into therapy before we even consider it. Update 1. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who has shown me kindness. Your words of encouragement and advice mean a lot to me. Here's what's been happening. It turns out, after I left my husband's place, my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law accused me of cheating. It hit me hard, especially after Owen wouldn't set things straight with his family. I've already started talking to a lawyer about it. Knowing they're spreading lies about me feels like a punch to the gut. Right now, I'm renting a nice 2-bedroom apartment. My siblings and their partners have been incredibly supportive, helping me furnish it. My main focus is making sure my baby has everything she needs. I'm currently setting up a cozy nursery for her and looking into hiring a nanny. Facing the end of my marriage is scary, but I'm slowly coming to terms with my new reality. When I told Owen I was going to file for divorce, he went into a frenzy, bombarding me with calls and messages. His tone swung from pleading for me to return home, promising to come clean and seek therapy again, to begging to see our baby, and even threatening to force me back home. But I stood firm, telling him that the divorce was happening regardless because he failed as a husband and as a parent. Then he started sending me photos and videos of my belongings being thrown away, along with my brother-in-law trashing the nursery. His exact words were, "I don't need it anymore." It was gut-wrenching to see. In one disturbing video, he even tossed our baby's car seat into a dumpster. This isn't the man I married. The man I knew was smart, kind, gentle, thoughtful, and funny. This vile behavior is something I never anticipated. He keeps saying he misses our daughter and me, but he tries to blame me for his actions, as if I brought this upon myself for not obeying him and tolerating his family's disrespect to save him from the embarrassment of his infertility. Before everything fell apart with his mother, he wasn't like this. I think it all stems from him feeling emasculated and humiliated by his family. But regardless of the reasons, I can't believe he couldn't stand up for me and our baby, the very person he claimed he would sacrifice anything for. I haven't blocked Owen because my lawyer advised me to forward all his messages to him. But his constant threats make me feel unsafe even in my own home. Owen keeps saying he'll drag us back, blaming me for everything. My lawyer and I are trying to get a restraining order, but I know from others' experiences that they might not be enough to keep me safe. Then something unexpected happened. My father-in-law showed up at my parents' doorstep, which prompted me to share this update. He asked to speak with me, and my parents made it clear that they'd respect my decision. I agreed to talk to him because he said he wanted to apologize for his family's behavior and set things right. When my dad called me since my father-in-law was blocked, he immediately apologized for his wife's actions. He wanted to hear my side of the story because he didn't believe I cheated. I thanked him. We've never been particularly close, but we've always been polite, and assured him I didn't cheat. I explained about Owen's infertility and how he suggested using a donor. I made it clear that it was Owen's decision, and I went along with it because Owen and his family valued blood relations so highly that he made me lie to ensure our child would be treated equally. After I finished explaining everything, my father-in-law seemed taken aback. He stayed quiet for a while, then asked if his wife and son could come over to see my daughter in person. They claimed they missed us and were ready to be a family again. But I stood my ground and told him no. Then he asked if there was anything Owen could do to fix our marriage, and once again I said no. My father-in-law tried to argue that I was being unfair, but my dad stepped in, telling him he was overstaying his welcome. Before I ended the call, I made sure to tell my father-in-law that Owen was still sending me abusive messages every day, and if he truly wanted to make amends, he should make his son stop. Then I hung up. My parents later told me that my father-in-law was annoyed that I didn't bid him farewell respectfully or give Owen a chance to save the marriage. But he left without much fuss after my parents gave him an earful about how he raised his son to threaten his wife and child. It seems like talking to his father did the trick because I haven't received a single message from Owen since then. I don't want anything from my soon-to-be ex-husband, no child support, no alimony, not even the house or any of his belongings. All I want is for him to agree to the divorce and relinquish his parental rights so that my daughter can have a family that loves her unconditionally. I have a good education and a great job, so my daughter and I will be just fine without him. Owen's lawyer has made it clear that they're going to fight for full custody, and my soon-to-be ex-husband has a lot more money than I do. But my lawyer is confident in our case, and I trust them completely. Today, my mother-in-law has been trying to reach out to me. She wants to be involved in my daughter's life and claims she's ready to accept her as she is. As if my daughter needs her acceptance. If it were up to me, their whole family would never see us again. Update 2. Firstly, let me address some common questions that have been coming up. No, I didn't sign a prenup. Yes, my mother-in-law has always been quite controlling, but my husband did establish boundaries with her when I asked him to. At that time, I was confident he would uphold those boundaries. My husband and I are not American, and we don't live in America. That's all I'm comfortable sharing about our location or ethnicity. A 12-year age gap is not unusual for us, and my family was fully supportive of our marriage at the time. He was seen as an excellent match by everyone. To those who suggest I'm wrong for not allowing my husband to see my daughter, you can kindly show yourself out. He forfeited any rights the day he allowed her to be called a bastard, and his actions or lack thereof since then make that abundantly clear. I know it might be hard for some to grasp, but I have no desire for alimony or any financial compensation. My daughter and I will not struggle without his money. While I may not have as much wealth as my soon-to-be ex-husband, I've managed to save a good amount, and thankfully I never stopped working. My family has also set aside money for my daughter, and their support means everything to us. I understand that some may argue I'm entitled to half of his assets, but I genuinely don't want or need them. I have complete faith in my lawyers. They're doing an outstanding job, and I stand by the decisions I've made 100%. Some of the evidence I've provided, including threats from my husband and videos of him destroying our belongings, will be admissible in court. However, not all of it will be accepted. Despite my lawyer's reassurance that we have enough for full custody, I can't help but feel nervous. As for our divorce, I believe he's simply holding on to control. I've only spoken to him in person once since leaving his house, and when I look into his eyes, I can sense that he no longer loves me or even likes me. It hurts more than I anticipated. I don't understand why he won't agree to an uncontested divorce unless it's about control. Owen has started to pay me back for the damages to my property, and the remaining amount will be settled in the coming weeks. Thankfully, we managed to resolve this matter out of court. I've successfully obtained a restraining order against my ex, but unfortunately, I couldn't get one against my mother-in-law or the rest of my ex's family. Despite this, my mother-in-law continues to harass my parents in an attempt to convince me to reconcile. It's embarrassing for her family, to say the least. My sister-in-law, who initiated this drama by telling my husband's mother about his infertility, still spreads lies about me cheating. However, my friends have stood up against her falsehoods, and few people believe her anymore. Being alone has made me realize that I've been functioning as a single married woman since my little one was born. But now I feel like I have less of a burden on my shoulders. Some days are better than others, and there are moments when I break down. I missed certain aspects of my life before, but I'm resolute in my decision not to go back. I'm grateful that the truth is out, even though it has cost me a few friendships, as some people have taken my husband's side despite knowing the full truth. Thank you to all those who offered kind words of support. We are safe.